The New York Jets have been at rock bottom for most of my life. I've only ever known the Jets as a bottom feeder football team. And somehow this year, they have managed to dig below rock bottom to set up a new shop there. They've already fired their head coach. They just fired their GM. And they take on a giant dead cap hit, but they are likely also going to fire their starting quarterback, that is Aaron Rodgers. Full on rebuild will be underway starting next offseason. And I understand the interest in sometimes having history repeat itself. In the case of Brett Favre, for example, leaving the Packers to go to the Jets didn't work out there. He comes to the Vikings and has a successful season. So, with history repeating itself, Aaron Rodgers leaves the Packers, goes to the Jets, doesn't work out. Is he going to come to the Vikings? No. Hell no. Emphatically, no. I don't want Aaron Rodgers within 100 miles of TCO Performance Center or US Bank Stadium. That is, unless he is with a visiting team for a joint practice during training camp or as a regular season opponent. Where do you even start? He's a terrible leader. He walks around with a cloud of drama above his head at all times. And to top it off, his level of play does not warrant all that extra baggage that comes with him. So, for instance, if you have a bad game, Aaron Rodgers playing for the team that I root for, I don't need to then see you go on the Pat McAfee show acting like everything's all well and good. He would undo everything that KOC and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah have built with this organization. Undo everything. The culture, the positive working environment. 2025, I'm ready for the JJ McCarthy era to start. And going back to KOC, should he be the front runner for Coach of the Year? And the measurement that we're going to use for the sake of this video, this topic, and I'm hoping this is standard across the league, even with league voters, is that this award is for the coach whose team wildly exceeds expectations the most. So ESPN, their simulation had the Vikings at 4 wins. ESPN's NFL Nation projected 6.8 wins. CBS Sports, 7 wins. The Athletic, 6.8 wins. The only predictions for the Vikings that had the Vikings in a positive light as far as double-digit wins came from Vikings content creators. And I'm only speaking for myself. I don't know what method the other channels do out there. Speaking for me, if you're informed enough with this team, you knew coming into this season that this was going to be at least a top half defense, especially with the moves they made in free agency, linebackers across the board, outside and inside linebackers. They brought in at quarterback as a stopgap, a former 3rd overall pick who's never had a supporting cast like he has in Minnesota with the weapons at receiver. You upgraded. Hindsight's one thing. Aaron Jones hasn't really been that great, but the thought was that your running game would be improved going from Alexander Mattison to Aaron Jones. That this team is going to make some noise. I projected 11-6. Vikings now 8-2. They're going to finish at least 12-5, maybe 13-4. And based on preseason predictions, I'd say that's wildly exceeding expectations. Now, there is a case to be made for Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers as well, but that's it. And the difference may come down to either record, in which case the Vikings, they're up 1 win over the Chargers 8-2 to the Chargers 7-3, or better seeding in their conference, which ironically enough, if the playoffs were to start today, the Vikings and the Chargers would be the 5 seed in their respective conferences. Honorary mention to Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals. They're 6-4. The Vikings, they're 2 wins above Arizona. But I think for right now, KOC has the slight edge, but it's going to come down to KOC versus Jim Harbaugh. And if KOC gets it, it's rightfully deserved.